Yes. Good morning, students. Good morning, everyone. We have gone through the introduction to the past, the first chapter in history. I hope you all are aware what is history. Dear students, now we are going to study about the sources of history. Yes, all the materials which have direct bearing or can be of any assistance in constructing the history of particular period are called the historical sources. These sources give us information about the past. They also act as clues from the past to construct history as a whole. The historical sources can be broadly divided into two categories. They are archaeological sources and literary sources. Students, you can see on the screen this. The sources of history can be divided into two parts. They are archaeological sources and literary sources. Under archaeological sources comes the monuments, buildings, pillars, rocks, sculptures, paintings, all these things. And under literary sources it comes different texts, accounts of foreigners, religious accounts. Clear, students? So these things we will be studying in detail about the literary and archaeological sources. Literary sources are obtained from various texts that were compiled in ancient India. They are old books that were written long ago, which were called manuscripts. Students, manuscript means handwritten books are called as manuscripts, and these manuscripts were written in ancient Indian period. These were records written by hand, and these manuscripts were written on by hands on beech or palm leaves in Brahmi or Kharoshi script. So, manuscripts are handwritten records on palm or beech leaves. Many of these are written in Sanskrit, Prakrit, and Tamil languages also. The Brahmi script and the language which is used is Sanskrit, Prakrit, and Tamil languages. So, in literary sources, manuscripts are also included. As these books are handwritten, they were very fragile to handle and preserve. Fragile means very delicate to preserve them. As at that time no paper invention was there, no writing work was there. So it was very difficult to preserve these resources. Some of them were eaten up by insects over the years and were destroyed, but many survived as often they were preserved in monasteries and temples. So these handwritten records or manuscripts were difficult to preserve. Sometimes they got dissolved or got eaten by the insects too. There were other early religious texts known as Vedas, Puranas, and our Hindu epics such as Ramayana, Mahabharata, Upanishad, etc. So, students, this all provide us information about our past. You might have watched Ramayana Mahabharata during your summer break. So it gives us information about our mythological text. There are also accounts written by travelers who visited India. Yes, and you have gone through that many foreign travelers came to India. They were like Megasthenes, Chinese travel as Fayan, Huansang, Ibn Battuta. So all these travelers came to India, they visited India and wrote an account on India's administration, culture, warrior life. India and foreign accounts together came under the literary sources. Another source that is considered to be very important is archaeological sources. Students, archaeological sources include the study of ancient remains, that is called as archaeology. Students, what is archaeology? Archaeology is the study of ancient remains. Now, archaeological excavate sites and objects buried in the earth. Now, what do these archaeologists do? They excavate, dig out the things buried in the earth. They also study the remains of buildings made out of bricks and stone, sculptures, and paintings. They excavate to find tools, animal bones, weapons, charred grains, etc. And we can find this study of inscription is called as epigraphy, and we can study through different monuments, pillars, rocks, statues. Monuments, coins, artifacts, and inscriptions provide concrete and authentic evidence. As for example, you can take Taj Mahal, Sarnath pillar. The messages are engraved on them, and they provide us authentic information. Monument is a statue building or other structure erected to commemorate a notable person or event. As already I gave the example of Taj Mahal, India Gate, Sanchi Stupa, Sarnath Pillar, Charminar, these all things. The study of coins is known as numismatics. Yes, you might have heard the word numismatics means the study of coins. As different kings issues different coins during their period. Some we find on coins images are engraved of the ruler or what found about their life depicts. So they also give information about the past. Coins throw significant light on the economic structure of ancient India. For example, trade and commerce. Yes, as if king issues gold coins, it shows how economic condition was so stable and growing. At the same time, if a king issues or have the metal coins, iron or like that, then it shows the economic condition of that ruler. The study of inscription is called epigraphy. They can be seen on pillars, rocks, slabs, walls of buildings, and body of temple. By studying them, we can understand the political, social, and economic and religious lives of people in ancient India. Yes, going through this, we can understand about different civilization, about their cultural, administrative lifestyle. Artifact is something made for, or given, shaped by humans, such as took a work of art, for example, stone tools, pottery, vessels, metal objects, jewelry, etc. On the other hand, historians are the people who study the past and use word sources to refer the information found from manuscripts, inscriptions, and seals. Archaeologists and historians study the sources available to them and reconstruct the past. So, students, this was about the different sources of history. Now, students, so now how we'll see how India got its name. Yes, we often refer to a country as India and the Bharat. The word India is derived from Indus, which is known as Sindhu in the Sanskrit language. The Greeks and Iranians who came to India via northwest about 2500 years ago denoted the country and people living beyond the Indus River as Hindus or Hindus, and the land to the east of river was called as India. India is also known as Bharatvarsha after the Bharat tribe mentioned in Rigveda. So this is how the India got the name India and Bharatvarsha. As the Bharat tribe was living in India, it got the name Bharat, and from the river Indus we have got the name India. So students, this was about the river Indus and from where we have got the name India.